I know that. That was my attitude initially. Now come. Why grant pardon? Well, of course, nobody has quarreled with the pardon granted to the military officers, you know, who were roped into some phantom coups and tried and convicted. Nobody has quarreled with that. But some of the people involved who made the list, the government has not convinced Nigerians why it had to do it. Two of them were convicted for financial and economic crimes. One, a retired major, was convicted for molesting 4 young boys. It was a case of sodomy. He was convicted and sentenced to imprisonment by the court-martial, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. In fact, the Supreme Court described his conduct as beastly, barbaric, and bizarre. And in any country, as the chairman of the editorial board of This Day said recently, Mr. Segun Adeniyi, you don't extend pardon to sex-related offenses because it questions the morality of a society. But I think the one that has generated a lot of controversy is the one of the ex-governor of Bayelsa State, Chief DSP Alamesia. Yes, but when you situate his own case within the context of a criminal justice system that has been messed up completely, in a way, totally manipulated in a way, that only the poor and the disadvantaged segments of the society, only the poor are railroaded to jail every day. You then ask yourself, and I think it was Dr. Okukwe, Doyin Okukwe, the presidential head of media public affairs, who perhaps put it very well. And I think you find the Yoruba addict to support the fate of Chief Alamise when he said, you ask a thief to drop what he has stolen, he's dropped it. You ask him to run, he's running. I think it was on this your program. Now you are chasing him. Do you want to kill him? Of course, he forgot to say that, and I think that was what he wanted to say. All those who have stolen the public wealth, all those who have looted the treasury, are walking free all over the place. So why do we want to kill somebody, right, who was removed as a governor, who was jailed, whose assets were confiscated? In other words, we now have a system. For instance, if I were in the position of Chief Alamesia, I would have regretted pleading guilty to the charge. Because all his other colleagues who were charged with serious, graver offenses are walking free. One of them, who John Bail in the United Kingdom, like himself, is making laws for us. It's in the Senate today. The former governor of Plateau State, Chief Joshua Dariye. Others, if I won, got a permanent immunity from prosecution, a perpetual injunction that thou shalt not be prosecuted for corruption. Others have got orders in court to stay their trials almost perpetually. So when you look at all this,
in comparison to what has happened to him,
of course, except that the government has not handled it very well. It's not the type of empty arrogance that one of the presidential aides display by dismissing all those who have criticized the controversial pardon and suffering from sophisticated ignorance. I'm talking of Reuben Abati. If anybody was ignorant, he was the one that displayed it as far as this matter is concerned.
I mean, in trying to explain to the people, is that the way to go about it?
No, that's what I'm saying. Because I even expected some kind of apology from the government. If we have offended your sensibilities, we are very sorry. We did not mean to offend anybody. But to now begin to distort very recent historical events in order to justify what you have done, it's definitely, it's out of it. It's out of it.
So somehow, are you implying that they could have justified it, but they just didn't justify it properly?
Yes, I'm saying they could have justified it by saying we have a legal system that has collapsed. And so what do you expect? In fact, I can tell you.
Would that make good justification?
Well, you might say that may be sarcastic, but in an atmosphere of impunity, anyone who gets convicted becomes an exception. Even cases of, I mean, you had the case of the Attorney General of a country, a 71-year-old man who was killed in his own bedroom. What happened by this Nigerian state? The state was programmed to fail. And the judge that was initially assigned to handle the case came up publicly to say, I'm under a prayer from the highest quarters in the country to free the suspects. A lawyer that, Festus K. Amo, that came out to say, one of the suspects came to me. We went to court, swore to an affidavit of the role he played. The lawyer was charged by the police. Those who were investigating that case were transferred or sent on course. And at the end of the day, some of the boys, the Attorney General for your state then, finally prosecute, that the state is not willing to prosecute. And that was why Chibola Ige's case was messed up. To the extent that his wife, a retired Court of Appeal justice, who saw the whole rigmarole, the total subversion of justice in our own country, went home and died, just couldn't cope in this country. But you can also look at other incidents. It's so bad now that armed robbery suspects, there is no case you don't settle in a police station, including murder, including rape. The police, they call it mock interviews. Mock trials are conducted every day.
Mr.